What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we've got every player that is rated 85 or higher that isn't a core elite in college football ultimate team. And what we're going to be doing today is ranking each and every one of them on a tier list from S to F. Now, I'm going to be ranking them by how good they are, not how good they are for their specific value. For example, Mike Evans is like 130,000 coins probably right now. He's better value than AJ Brown, but AJ Brown's better than Mike Evans. So on this tier list, AJ Brown is going to be higher. So that's what we're going to get into in this video. Again, all these cards are pretty expensive. I'll probably have a budget one of these relatively soon as well. Let's start it off with free safety Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs, the best free safety in the entire game. When it comes down to best cards in the game, I'm going to put him at A tier. I don't think he's probably top 5, maybe even top 10, but he is one of the best cards in the game. And if you have Caleb Downs and you want the best squad in the game, we'll keep him. Obviously, value-wise, I don't know how great he is, but he is really, really good in college football ultimate team. Christian McCaffrey up next. I'm going to go A tier as well. I still think he's the second best running back in the game. 87 speed, good out of the backfield at catching the ball as well. Think A tier is the right spot for McCaffrey. Von Miller, another A tier type of player. I love Von Miller as far as a left end, as far as a defensive lineman in this game. To me, though, there are probably better options than Von Miller when you're talking about just other cards at the defensive line that can maybe do as much as him. But again, I think he's probably the best defensive lineman in the game, I would say right now, but it's just how valuable are defensive linemen? Not super valuable. I know you're going to see a lot of A tiers right now. Roquan Smith, I'm going to go A tier as well. Again, I think there are better cards in the game than Roquan Smith, but he is the best user. 87 speed, it does look like, for Roquan Smith. An absolute stud middle linebacker. I hate playing against him. Do think he's A tier, though. Corey Thomas, our first B tier player. I love Corey Thomas quite a bit, but I think Caleb Downs, when you compare him side by side, is better than Corey Thomas. I do think he is probably a top 20 or so card in the game, but when you get down to it, I just think there are overall better cards. If you got him in house rules, obviously, you've got a stud on your hands. Ben Powers, when you're ranking some of the best cards in the game, again, we're starting with some of the heavy hitters, okay? I gotta go B tier with Ben Powers. I really like him. I like him as well as the I think it was a right tackle we got, and that, in case you missed it, drop. Both those guys are really good. Can't go any higher than B tier, though. Tua, I don't know, C tier at the quarterback position. He's fine. I just don't know what he does to stand out. Is he a top 5 quarterback in the game? Probably, but he's not top 2. He's okay at the quarterback position. I'm going to go C tier. Jonathan Taylor, again, we're ranking the best cards in the game. I'll go C tier. He's fine. I just think there are overall better running backs in the game. Andrew Thomas, this was the guy I was looking at next to Ben Powers. Studs. If they are your right side of the line with Ben Powers, with Andrew Thomas, you've got some studs on your hand. Both of them, I do think, are B tier. Both of them, probably the best cards at their respective positions. Christian Watkins, he's fine. He's actually a really good D tackle. Right now, though, in college football ultimate team, I'm not even running D tackles. So, I don't know where I'm at. He's obviously very good. I'm just at C tier. I just don't know what he does at that next level. Mark Andrews, you guys can hate me if you want. I'm going to go D tier. I think there are tight ends that are better than Mark Andrews, and I'll talk about him in this video. He's fine. I just think it's his name. Like, everybody runs Mark Andrews because of his name. There are better tight ends in this game than Mark Andrews. Will Campbell up next. I love Will Campbell. I think he is B tier, right in here with Ben Powers, with Andrew Thomas. If they're all on your offensive line, it's going to be tough for the opposing team to get a stop. Because whether they're in pass protection, whether they are run blocking, especially, those cards are all studs. Bradley Chubb, I'm going to go B tier. Not quite as good as Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith is better than him. But when I'm comparing the two, I mean, it's a minuscule difference. Very, very small. Bradley Chubb, one of the best users in the entire game. Minka Fitzpatrick, another card I love, but he's not as good as Caleb Downs. I'm going to go B tier for Fitzpatrick. Again, maybe better value. Probably not. I still like Caleb Downs' value better than Fitzpatrick, but both cards are absolutely studs. They're absolute studs in college football ultimate team. Myles Garrett, honestly, he's a good value. For his value, actually really solid. I'm going to go C tier. Can get after the quarterback. Can obviously stop the run as well. Best attribute, best thing about him, going to get after the quarterback. I'm going to go C tier for Myles Garrett. Do like him at that right end position. Ollie Gordon right in there with Jonathan Taylor. I mean, neither of these cards are cards that I would recommend spending or picking up. They're fine for their value, though, 155,000 coins. I can't hate on that. I just don't know how much better they are than a guy like Marshall Faulk or Todd Gurley, who I will cover here in a little bit. Lamar Jackson, he's QB1. As much as I want to gas Cade McNamara, Lamar Jackson is your best quarterback in the entire game. I'm going to go S tier. He's our first S tier. He is so good in college football to a team. I know his price is going down, and that's fine, but capitalize on it. I mean, the card is an absolute stud. Derwin James, another absolute stud. I'm going to throw him right there with Corey Thomas. I mean, Corey Thomas Jr., Derwin James, whoever you like more, you can run. Both cards are absolute studs. Do think Corey Thomas obviously is probably better. I'm going to put them both at B tier, though. I really do like both of them. Chad Johnson, at this stage, I just don't know. We've gotten better and better wide receivers. I still like him. I think C tier is where he belongs, though. Just because, again, him, Mike Evans, we've just got a lot of studs at the wide receiver position now. I'm going to go C tier for the card. Chris Johnson, I like him more than Ollie Gordon. I like him more than Jonathan Taylor. I'll put him at B tier. Not necessarily my favorite running back in the game, but he is one of the top couple of running backs in the game. Again, right now, being fast, having a good juke move, spin move is more important than being a power back. That's why Chris Johnson is ahead of a guy like Jonathan Taylor. Colston Loveland, underrated. Underrated. This card is an absolute stud. I'm putting him at B tier. The difference between Loveland and Mark Andrews, I think, is big. Again, you guys don't have to agree with me, but I do love Loveland, and maybe I'm too low on Mark Andrews. Maybe he deserves C tier. I'll put him at C tier. But I do like Loveland more than Mark Andrews, and I want that to be clear. Mariota, I'm going to go B tier. I like the card. He's probably better than Tua, and he is. That's what I want to compare. He is better than Tua. But when it comes down to it for me, how much better? I don't think a ton better. I'm going to try to organize these from offense to defense as we do go through these to make it easier on you guys as well. But I like Mariota, right-handed quarterback, really solid. I'm going to go B tier. Cade McNamara, look, this is an unbiased opinion. I'm running Cade McNamara. Why am I running McNamara? It's because he's an Iowa Hawkeye. That's why. Trying to be unbiased here. I'll go D tier with him. Obviously, again, for me, I don't think he's as good as Tua. I don't think he's as good as Mariota. As far as a pocket passer is solid, but that's all he is, D tier. Cody O'Connell, honestly, he's cheap. He's pretty solid. I do like Ben Powers and Andrew Thomas more. They're more balanced. Cody O'Connell's definitely a better just pass protector specifically, but he's not bad. C tier. Might move him down. I'm just not in love with him. TJ Watt, I'm going to go D tier. I need guys in my 3-4, 3-3-5 that are going to get after the quarterback quite a bit. TJ Watt doesn't. If you do want a guy to, play pass coverage with, he's fine. It's about all he gives you. TJ Watt, I'll go D tier with. I'm just not a fan. Amaro. I like Jace Amaro more than Mark Andrews. I like Jace Amaro more than Mark Andrews. And again, this is something you don't have to agree with me on, but I'm just gonna bring some stats up in front of you guys, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right. So when we search about the tight end position, Jace Amaro, I run him at wide receiver right now. He's got 85 speed. He's got 85 speed. Okay? He's got 85 speed. He's a stud as far as pass catchers are concerned. Again, in my opinion, one of the best tight ends in the entire game. Mark Andrews only got 83 speed. I like Jace Amaro more than Mark Andrews. It's, in my opinion, it's by far. I don't even know how close it is. Loveland's got 84 speed and just, in my opinion, is more balanced. I'm putting Amaro in B tier. You guys, again, don't have to agree with me. That's where I've got him. Bosa, he's fine. Not great. Honestly, I'm going to go D tier with Bosa. He was fine for his time, but obviously as the weeks has went on, he's just gone down on my tier list. Mike Evans, I still really like him. I'm going to go C tier. Yes, Chad Johnson is probably slightly better, but Mike Evans is a stud. He's a stud. 6'5", good speed. If he's in your price range, definitely a guy I recommend picking up. Todd Gurley, D tier. Don't love the card. Jonathan Jefferson at this point, D tier. Don't love the card. Timmy Jernigan, just because there's not a lot of great D tackles, I'm going to go D tier. I'm just going to go D tier. I just feel right putting him at D tier. I like Jernigan. He's just D tier. Eric Kendricks, D tier as well. I'm not trying to hate on these cards, but I just got to have some separation here. Latham, just another end here that's in D tier. We've got some ends here that aren't bad, but again, when you're talking about 85 rated plus that have came out in these promos, this is where I got him. Booger McFarland does not fit what I want in a defensive tackle. I want a guy at D tackle that can move. He's one of these slower D tackles, 85 plus in the entire game. He's F tier. Renfro, D tier. Not nearly as good as Johnson. Not nearly as good as Mike Evans. He was fine for his time. He's 6'1" for some reason in this game. D tier is where he belongs. Cam Rising, a worse Cade McNamara. Good comparison, just a worse Cade McNamara. Brandon Sheriff, D tier. I mean, again, if you throw the ball a lot, he's going to be fine. If you run the ball a lot, not quite what you want. Not even as good as Cody O'Connell. Ra Thomas, he's better than Renfro in my opinion. Not as good as Mike Evans. D tier is where he belongs. Brian Urlacher, I'm gonna put him in D tier. I do like him a little bit more than Kendricks, but I think D tier is the right spot. Luther Burden, finally, another S tier caliber of player. The card's a stud. If you play against Luther Burden, you've probably got a headache right now. The card is so good in college football Ultimate Team. S tier is ultimately where he does belong. Tim Tebow, I mean, I don't want to rank him, but if I do rank him, he's S tier. Lefty quarterback's weird. Gonna be honest, just get Lamar Jackson instead of Tebow. And I like Tebow as much as the next guy. It's what you just got to do. Will Johnson, another absolute stud. S tier for Will Johnson. If you've got him, don't sell him. Hold on to him. He is so good in college football Ultimate Team. Judkins, S tier. The best player in college football Ultimate Team right now. Bar none. He is absolutely elite. Abdul Carter, A tier. Again, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm tired of running Abdul Carter. No, you shouldn't be. He's like 250,000 coins. Pick him up. He's a beast. Jonah Monheim, again, an absolute stud. We're plugging in some studs here at this 88 overall A tier. The best offensive lineman in the entire game. Colin Oliver right now, he's S tier too. Again, don't be fooled just because they don't, have the limited, just because they're, been out for a while. Cards are still studs. A tier for both of them. AJ Brown, this is what pains me. This is what pains me quite a bit. I still think Luther Burden's better than A.J. Brown, but I think it's close. And I'm going to put A.J. Brown at S tier. I can't. I don't feel right doing it. I'm not putting him at S tier. And I'm also moving Jason Morrow down. I don't feel right doing this, but it's what I got to do. Again, A.J. Brown, not as good as Luther Burden. I don't want to have two receivers at S tier, but A.J. Brown, an absolute stud. Sauce Gardner, another absolute stud. I just like Will Johnson more. Again, he's an absolute stud. I like Will Johnson more. So for that, I'm putting him at, I'm putting him at S tier. Sauce Gardner is 6'3". I'm putting him at S tier. I don't care. I think between Sauce Gardner and A.J. Brown, I like Gardner probably a little bit more. Harold Perkins, it's kind of weird because his tackling rating is so low. I'm putting him at B tier. The tackling rating just scares me a little bit. B tier for Harold Perkins, still really good in college football Ultimate Team. Aiden White, A tier. Again, I do think Gardner and Will Johnson are better than Aiden White, but Aiden White's still an absolute stud. Barkley, the question here is no question. I mean, he's B tier for sure. Definitely, in my opinion, not as good as Christian McCaffrey, but he is better than Ollie Garden and Jonathan Taylor by quite a bit. Randy Moss, perfect. This is the card I was waiting on, and perfect addition into B tier. Randy Moss is good. One of the worst value cards in the game, though. I mean, he's like 700,000 coins, maybe 600,000 now. Not worth the price. B tier is where he belongs. Micah Parsons, I like Micah Parsons, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's not as good as Oliver or Abdul Carter. Put him in B tier. He's good, not necessarily great. Jalen Ramsey, you're perfect for this B tier. I like Jalen Ramsey, but he's what belongs in B tier. When you're looking at cornerbacks, he belongs in B tier. White is A tier, and these guys are at S tier. Darrelle Revis, another B tier type of corner. Again, really good. Neither of these cards are worth the price that they are going for right now. College Football Ultimate Team. Marshall Faulk, D tier, right there with Todd Gurley. Both running backs, again, for their value, I don't hate. But when you're talking about the best cards in the game, aren't quite up there on this tier list. Ray Lewis up next. I do think Ray Lewis is better than Kendricks. I'm putting him at C tier. I think C tier is where Ray Lewis belongs. I don't really like putting him at C tier, but I do think that's ultimately where he belongs. When Malik Neighbors gets to be this 85 overall, sadly, he's gonna be D tier. And this is when he gets to 85 overall. Obviously, right now, he's not 85 overall, but when he gets here, he's going to be D tier. Not necessarily great. Pat White last, certainly not least. I'm going to go C tier. Probably your best value quarterback in the game right now. Definitely do think he's better than Cade McNamara if you are comparing the two. I just run Cade because, look, I'm an Iowa fan. It's really that simple. But that's going to wrap it up for our tier list today, guys. You guys can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Who was I too high on, too low on? And again, it's kind of hard to rank people at F tier and D tier because all of these cards are really good. And honestly, I run some of these cards. I run Urlacher. I did run Renfro for a while. I run Cade McNamara. I run Jefferson. I run a lot of those cards because a lot of these cards, you're spending 500K a piece. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.